Hello students, today I am discussing with you the second part of dividend theories. Next is a Gordon's model. Gordon's model, it was given by Myron Gordon, who has developed this model on the lines of Professor Walter, and it suggests that dividends are relevant and the dividendization of the firm affects its value. It means it belongs to the that school of thought which reveals that dividendization is having an impact on the value of the firm, so it belongs to the relevance theories. So these are the assumptions which are being followed in the Gordon's model. It assumes that the firm is an all equity firm and there is no external financing which is used in the business. They are only using their retained earnings. Next is that their internal rate of return, that is the rate of return which they are getting out of their investment, is constant. The appropriate discount rate, which is also known as the cost of capital of the firm, it also remains constant. The firm and its stream of earnings are perpetual. There exists no corporate taxes. The retention ratio means the ratio in which the funds are being retained by the company, which are not being invested by the company. And it assumes that this retention ratio, once decided, it always remains constant. So the growth rate, which is equal to B into R, is constant forever. Next assumption is that the cost of capital, that is K, it is always greater than the growth rate. So next, this is the formula which is used in the Gordon's model. P1, this is the market value of the shares which are calculated according to the here the present value of the dividend which is to be received from the firm has been calculated. Here D1 belongs to the dividend received in the first year. D2 means dividend received in the second year and up to n or x number of years. So K is the cost of equity, which is a discount rate. Through this we discount our dividends and we get the present value of the dividend which we are going to receive in the future time period. So this model can also be rewritten in a very simple way in another formula. Here P1, that is market value, is calculated with this formula. Here E is the earning per share, 1 minus B. B is the retention ratio or the fraction of the retained earnings or the fraction of the total funds which are being retained by the company. Here K is the cost of capital and BR is the growth rate. Through this formula, we can calculate the market price and we can see that whether a dividend policy is having an impact on the value of the firm or not. So dividend policy means here the E will change. E means the earning earning per share, or B, the retention ratio will change. We can see at different retention ratios how the market price changes. So these are the implications of the Gordon's model. Here there can be three type of possibilities. When R is greater than K, it means when the rate of return on the investment is greater than the required rate of return. The required rate of return here means the cost of capital, or required rate of return means the return which you require from your investment, and here the rate of return R is the actual rate of return which you are getting out of your investment. So here when the rate of return, if you are getting more return from your investment than the required return, then price per share will increase. It will have a positive impact on the price, so the dividend payout ratio will decreases. Why the dividend payout ratio decrease? Because after investing your funds in some alternative, you are getting more return. If you are getting more return from the investment, then the funds should be further invested and you should not distribute that funds in the form of a dividend, so your dividend payout ratio will decrease. Second implication can be when R is equal to K, that is a rate of return. You are getting same rate of return as you required, so here the price per share will not change, it will remain unchanged and it will not be affected by the dividend policy, whether the company is paying full 100% dividend or 0%, it doesn't affect. Last is when R is less than K, when the rate of return is less than the required rate of return. You are getting return, less return on your investment than required, then the price per share will increase. If you increase your dividend payout ratio, so dividend payout ratio also increases, so the dividend payout ratio would be 100%. This model has also been criticized on various aspects. First is this model has assumed that the firm's investment opportunities are financed only through the retained earnings and there are no external financing. But this is not actually happening in the firms. They are using external financing also. Second, the Gordon's model is only applicable to all equity shares. This has been assumed in this model, but this is not true. And it has also assumed that the rate of return is constant, but the rate of return varies with the increase or decrease in the investment. Next is it is assumed the cost of capital, that is K, it also remains constant, but it is not realistic, it is not really applicable in the real life situations, as it is ignoring the risk. With the increase in the risk, your cost of capital will also increase. Thus, the Gordon's model points that the dividend plays an important role in determining the share price of the firm. Next is, after giving this basic valuation model, the Gordon has also revised his model. So here are the provisions of the revised model. So the basic assumption in the Gordon's basic model that the cost of capital remains constant is not true. He revised his model where he assumed that the cost of capital is constant, but in the revised model he assumes it not to be constant. So the revised model considered risk. Here they have considered the risk and uncertainty. In the revised model, he suggests that even when your actual rate of return is equal to the required rate of return, that is cost of capital, the dividend policy is affecting the value of the shares because of uncertainty of the future. The shareholders, they discount the future dividends at a higher rate than they discount the near dividends. So they are having a they are of the view that shareholders are of the view that the dividend which they receive in the present time is more important than the dividend which they are going to receive in the future time period. Next is, here they take he's taking two assumptions. First is the investors are risk averse. The investor always prefer not to take a risk because they are trying to avoid the risk. So they put a premium on the certain return and discount uncertain returns. So they want to have a certain returns. They don't want to have a uncertain returns. So the investors, they prefer near dividends. Near dividends means dividend in the present times than the future dividend, as they are rational and want to avoid the risk. So this kind of argument is also known as a bird in a hand argument. This argument goes like this, that you will prefer to have bird in hand than the bird in the bush. You will always prefer to have money in your hand in the present times than the money which you are going to receive in the future, because future is uncertain. It means the value of rupee of dividend income is more than the value of rupee of a capital gain. So value of the dividend income means the dividend which you are receiving in the present time is more than the gain which you are getting out of your investment in the future time period. Thus, if the dividend policy is considered in context of uncertainty, if you are considering the risk in your dividend policy, the cost of capital cannot be assumed to be constant, and so firms should get a higher dividend payout ratio. So they are paying more and more dividend and offer a high dividend yield in order to minimize their cost of capital. It means they are trying to reduce their risk by paying more dividend to the shareholders, because the shareholders, they prefer to have dividend in their hand. They prefer to have a dividend than the gain which they are getting out of their investment in the future time period. Thank you.